The best way to, in my opinion, the best way to find a job is to, first of all, clear your head. So if you have an event like you got laid off, clear your head so that you can think right about this. And when you talk to people, you can sound right about it and you don't want to sound bitter. So clear your head and then think about, start with the personal brand. And this is interesting because the higher up the food chain somebody is, the greater the tendency to have done many different things. And so they're almost a utility player, almost a chameleon. They can do operations, they can do business development, they can do strategy, they can even do finance maybe. And I tell them that's ironically working against you because people have trouble trying to figure out, where can I fit this woman in my organization? What is she? It's easier for them to put a label on you. And it's easier for me as a recruiter to put a label on you. You're an operations executive. You're a strategy executive. You're the guy that comes in and builds the sales team from ground up. It's a lot easier when I can think of you. It may not be fair, but it's the practical reality. It's easier if I can think of you that way. So if you buy that premise, think about what are the 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you can do well and that you enjoy doing. Let's say there are 2 of them. Then have 2 different versions of your resume. Have 2 different versions of all your documentation, your outreach, emails and letters, your scripts if you're leaving voicemails for people, but have 2 different versions, and each version screams that one type of role. And then think about, okay, if I'm going to do operations, what kind of company do I want to do that for? Am I looking for one of the big ones? Am I looking for a pre-Series A so that I can get in on the ground floor and get equity and maybe have a big paycheck a few years down the road? Or does that level of risk scare me and I want something that is a little further along, a Series B, where some of the risk has been run out of it? So what kind of company do I want to work for? And then who are those companies? And if you think about it, you probably can start building your list off the top of your head. But then you can do things like go to trade show exhibitor pages. And usually there's a list of companies that are involved, and they're usually categorized. And then you can start thinking about that. And then you can go on LinkedIn. And that can be a rabbit hole, but that's so full of useful information if you can approach it with some discipline. And so you just keep building this list. And you might have 175 companies that you want to target. And then the next step, obviously, is, all right, who are these people? If I am looking for a position at a Series A company, what person am I going to typically report to? Is it the CEO? Is it somebody else? What person is likely to be the person I'll report to? Okay, now I can go to company websites, I can go back to LinkedIn, but I start to attach names to that list of companies. Now I've got a list of people that I want to hit on. And I've got an outreach message, a note that tells them how strong I am in this area that I'm targeting. And go at them directly. You can get to them through LinkedIn. You can get to them through groups that you might share on LinkedIn. You can get to them sometimes directly through the company. But go at them and just treat it like a job in itself. Just be very systematic about it. It's a lot of work, but it's not hard. It's just a lot of work. It's not rocket science. And most importantly, it does work. And I've seen people end up with a choice of 2 or 3 opportunities simply because they approached it that way and they were very diligent about it and they just kept their foot on the pedal.